Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode of the Crazy Faith Podcast. It's your host Jasmine Todd, and today we have an incredible episode with Whitney Ashley. And as always, before we get into any conversation, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Agogie. Agogie have pioneered the resistance band apparel industry, creating pants that have personally taken my training to a whole new level. With 8 resistance bands built in, these pants will help increase your training intensity and are guaranteed to improve your overall performance. Get faster, get stronger. It's as simple as putting on the pants, guys. So once again, huge thank you to Agogie for sponsoring this episode. And get ready to tune in, guys. I hope you enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Crazy Faith Podcast. I am your host, Jasmine Todd, and I am here with my beautiful guest, Whitney Ashley. Hey, girl. Hey. Okay, so I am going to run a little bit of a background. I've got my cheat sheet off to the side here, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a background, my listeners. If there's any corrections, please feel free to fix any corrections with. Okay, because you know the internets be a little off sometimes. So Whitney is an American athlete whose specialty is the discus. Ashley placed first in the discus in 2016 at the U.S. Olympic trials to qualify for the 2016 Olympics out in Rio. And that's also where she competed. She's currently ranked inside the top 20 going into Tokyo 2021, and she won the 2012 NCAA discus title, becoming the first athlete from San Diego State University to win an NCAA title since 1985. Girl.
And 3 consecutive world championship teams and finalists, 2013, 2015, 2017.
Yes, Whitney, I love it. See, this is why we do the cheat sheets and the internet just don't always got everything. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, because you guys need to understand Whitney is a beast, okay? This is a beast. She's a beautiful soul. She is not only an amazing athlete, but she is so genuine, and she is just a shining light out there. If you guys ever get the chance to meet her, please embrace her, because this is probably one of the best people to have in your corner, who is always, she's my favorite hype man out there, to be honest. So let's get into the nitty gritty, Booski. Okay, so I want to get into the first question that I have here, which is, how did you get into discus?
Woo! You didn't say the first question was going to be long. Okay. So I grew up a basketball player. I grew up in Riverside, California. I come from a basketball family. My dad was amazing. My mom played every sport you can think of. And one summer, my mom decided to take us on like a walk at like a local community track. And we saw a whole bunch of kids running laps. And she decided, oh, I found another sport to put my kids in, which was track and field. And so we joined the local club team. I continued on through high school, but I only threw the shot put. I got really, really good. And when I got to my junior year, my mom was like, listen, like, you need to pick up another event. You're good at shot put. Like, let's try the discus. And I hated it. It just wasn't for me. But I would stand throw, and I won league. I went to state with it. You name it. I was, giving bare minimum, but doing really, really well. So that's kind of how that started. It started in high school, but my mom was the track coach at our high school. And so I didn't really have a choice but to throw the discus. I wanted to ride home. So that's how that happened.
That ride home is very important. Honestly, and very
understandable. Or I could walk an hour. So I was like, well, I guess I'm throwing the discus.
Yeah. What do you consider to be the hardest part of discus?
Whew. It truly is a dance. And for the longest time, I never understood what that meant when people would tell me, like, Whitney, you got to slow down, you got to relax, and just kind of think of it as a rhythmic event. And I've always wanted to like go fast. Like we used to go by this term crush city. I would just go as fast as I could just to get it out of my hands. And I realized that wasn't getting me anywhere. And so when I watch like old German throw videos or just like classic discus throwing, I just started to watch the movements. I wasn't trying to emulate anyone. I just thought, wow, it really is a beautiful event. It truly is a dance. And every little piece matters to make the discus go far. Of course, there's other things, but I go, once you start to think of it like a dance, it's truly rotational, like a ballerina, you're light on your feet, is when I really started to excel. And so, yeah, I hope that answers the question.
It did. It definitely did, which also brought me to my next question because you said you were watching other athletes. So, is it true that you used to watch 3 hours of video per day? Do you still do that? And what are you looking for when you watch these videos?
Great question. No, I no longer watch 3 hours of video, but when I was, again, to reiterate, I just didn't know anything about the discus. It's not something you see on TV. It's not something you really, who grows up to go, I want to be a discus thrower. And so when I decided to take it seriously, I was like, okay, I want to be better. How do I better understand this event? So I would spend hours. When was I doing this? Oh my goodness. I would say when right out of high school, going into community college, I say I did about a year and a half. And everyone I do an interview with from here on out, I'm going to rectify that quote because I'm so tired of being asked that. I'll be at a meeting and they go, oh my gosh, like 3 hours of video at night. Like, how do you manage? And I'm like, girl, sir, that was years ago. I'm trusting. I'm telling you, there's better things to do at night. I don't do that anymore. But yeah, I was looking to see what the greats and how they moved. I wasn't trying to emulate anyone. One thing I learned, and someone always taught me this really, really young, if you're going to watch video, don't do it to copy because you never know what an athlete is working on. And you might be trying to do something they're trying to do, but it's actually their weakness. And you just don't know what works for your body. But if you're going to watch, just watch to learn. Wow. I tried to find something that made everyone good. So there's a unifying theme, or there's unifying movements that all the greats do. And so I go, wow, okay, they all look a little different, but they all do this thing the same. They all do that thing the same. And I'd experiment with things for a long, long time. I'd run it past my coach. What do you think about this? Well, we can try this. Okay, well, it's going to be a while before we get to that. Okay. But that's kind of what I use video for. And it was amazing. I advise is with the right intentions. And as long as you know why you're watching video, I think it's healthy for learning, for sure.
Definitely. I agree with that 100% because I do that too. I definitely do that. And it wasn't 3 hours, but I used to be sitting there watching and studying everybody. So leading into the next question, because my little Olympian here. So I kind of want to talk about that going into 2016. What was that like for you leading up to the Olympics?
You know, from college to Rio, every year was on the brink of quitting. And anyone who ever was training with me during that block, every year I'd tell the people I was going to quit. I hated the journey. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Every year I felt more and more out of love with the discus. It doesn't come natural to me to this day. I've had to put in way more extra time than the average person. Again, basketball always came natural to me, but for whatever reason, God did not lead me down that path. He put me in track and field, and oh man. So when I got there, I cried so much. I go, wow, from a kid who still kind of hates this event to make it here, I'm wearing this opening ceremony jacket. I'm standing next to Serena Williams. I'm standing next to Michael Phelps. I met DeAndre Jordan. I met so many amazing people. And I go, wow, like God is so good. For me, that was a moment of realization, like God is so good because this wasn't me. I never asked for this. And so I took it all in. And there's a really cool picture I have. Obviously, I can't show you now, but I'll send it to you in the DMs of me standing in the middle of opening ceremonies, just kind of taking it in because I couldn't believe it. It wasn't my goal. I never wanted to be an Olympian. I never thought I was good enough. I always just did enough to get by. I wanted very small goals in college. My goal my senior year when I won an NCAA title, I just wanted to get top 3. I said, Coach, when I graduate, I just want to be as close as I can to the top of that podium, but I'm not going to win. Like these girls have been throwing a long time. I wasn't strong. I couldn't even bench the bar in college. Weak.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. Extremely weak. I was very, very tiny in college. And so everything was a win and I would just keep going. I just kept fighting. And the second time around, the reason why I'm going to Tokyo is because I knew I deserved more. I didn't treat myself right mentally and physically that first time around. And I said, I don't care how ugly it is, and it's been ugly. I don't care how hard it gets, and it's been hard. I'm going to put my best foot forward to cross all of my T's and dot all of my I's, so that when I get to Tokyo, and or if not, I know I gave it all I had this time. And I didn't want to, I couldn't look in the mirror after Rio and go, are you okay with walking away? I couldn't answer that question. So that's why I'm here.
Whitney, I love that. And thank you for sharing that and being so open and transparent, because a lot of people don't share that side of track and field. Because there's a lot of track athletes that just kind of grew up in it, and that this is what they've wanted to do. They've had that dream of, I want to be an Olympian. So it's so amazing to hear the side of, that was never something that I aspired to be. This is, it's been a battle, and I've had to battle with this. And so thank you so much for sharing that. And with that, do you have any advice for someone that is in that position?
Oh my goodness. That's a good question. Oh gosh, you're good. You're good. In my shoes. It's so cliche, but I feel like my journey is the epitome of trusting the process, and nothing happens by mistake. Once I realized that I'm here for a reason, I was put here. And every time I tried to get out, God would close doors. Nope, can't do that. Nope, this opportunity is closed. It was always back to track. And I go, okay, well, let me stop fighting it. If you're there for a reason, embrace it. And you're not guaranteed a medal out of all of this. And funny thing, that's actually not a goal of mine. And I know that sounds like, why are you doing this? I just kind of explained that, but embrace the journey. And there's lessons in everything that you do. Whatever I'm being taught right now, wherever I'm being molded to do, is supposed to make me great for my next venture, and or teach me things as an individual. I've learned so much about myself through this professional track and field journey. 34 countries before the age of 30. I had lunch with President Obama in 2016 at the White House. And I go, before you start to pick things away from your career, like, oh, I didn't medal and this was bad, this is that, my pros for the list outweigh my cons still. That's a blessing. That's a blessing. You stop looking at what you don't have, what you haven't accomplished. You've done more than a lot of people. I'm in the 1%. I've made it to the highest level of my sport. You know what I'm saying? Like the Olympic Games. Like at the end of the day, and when I announced that, nobody cares about anything else. No one knows what a world championship is. They go, you went to the Olympics? Everything stops. All they heard was Olympics. And, oh my God, what was it like? Who did you meet? That's amazing. And I go, wow, that is cool. Let me take that in. You know what I'm saying? And I can't show my tattoo because I wore a long sleeve. It took me 4 years to get my Olympic rings because I was so ashamed. I got my Olympic rings last year in January.
Whitney,
you think I'm playing? My story is real. I despised myself. I despised everything. I was mad at God. I would cry every single night for years. Why am I here? Why would you have me here? And all I'm doing is hurting. I can't pay my bills. And then I got sponsored. I was with Nike for 3 years, and it was like, oh, okay, let me shut up. You know what I'm saying? We pop it now. Then I get cut in 2017. Then it's back to like, okay, now I got to hustle. Now I got to work. Now I really have to go to these meets because I need prize money. I'm mad at God again, And I'm just like, yo, like, that's not how it works. That's not how faith works. It can't always be peaches and cream. And he's not a genie. And so, oh man, I know that was a lot of rambling, but that's just kind of, again, self-development and again, trusting the process. And I hope that helps someone one day. You're not always going to have the answers, and life is never going to make sense. Doesn't matter what you're doing. You're not always going to have the answers. We're not supposed to.
Hey, Whitney, you're helping me. So honestly, like, to hear that side, because a lot of the times people don't hear this other side of what athletes go through when they do not have a contract. Ooh. And having to hear like the side hustles. And I kind of want to get into that. What are the things that you're doing to help accommodate for not having a contract?
I got really good at writing letters. And one thing I had to let go was pride. And I go, what I despise is, and this is no shade, but it's shade, okay? Individuals who post a life they're not living. And so I decided I've never decided to grow my Instagram and try to post things that weren't really happening in my life. My pictures are a reflection of where I am. And I go, I'm not going to post these cars and this high life and I'm out here hustling. Like I wrote letters. Every business in Lawrence, Kansas, for the most part, has received a letter from me. Gyms have taken me in, have waived my membership fees. I've gotten free massages. I've had meals sent to my house. Just whatever I can do. And I think this person was a name anonymous, but I've had donors in my hometown write very generous checks to pay out my entire training through Tokyo.
Wow.
And I go, just for me letting go of my pride, you'd be surprised that people will live vicariously through you. Like, man, the first thing I get was, I remember I gave up on myself. I decided to get married. I decided to have kids. I really wish I would have done what you've done if it was another venture. I wish I wouldn't have given up on myself. Here's X amount of dollars. I just want to see you win. I just want to see you give yourself a chance. And when I realized, wow, my story means something, girl, hello, my name is Whitney Ashley, blah, 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 blah. This is what I'm looking for. And it started rolling in. Honestly, just ask for help. I think people, again, track athletes, especially, everyone wants to live the high life. Everyone wants to look like those big time sprinters, but people forget 60% of track and field athletes live underneath the poverty line. So a lot of people was lying on him. Okay. Cap on the gram.
Come on now. Let's talk about it. I love it. I really, really love it. Like, I'm in a dorm. Like,
girl,
people don't understand the sacrifices that people are taking to make these journeys. And
I miss my bed, okay? I miss my bed to get into my room because I did not take advantage of my resources then. Well, that's another podcast. You take advantage of that. And once I stopped being ashamed of the training center is really when I got my bag up. I was able to fund my own self before I started writing the letters for an entire year because I saved every penny I made at the training center. I saved every penny. So I left there debt free and with a good chunk of money before I needed to ask for help. So
come on.
There's nothing, and you paid off your coffee better.
Girl,
there. Hello?
Car paid off. Hello?
Okay, thank you. So that's a win.
Yes,
Shoot.
I love it. You're being so raw right now, and I love it so much. This is the side that people need to see. So I'm hoping that a lot of people really are taking this in, and those athletes that need to hear this, I really hope that they tune into this specific podcast because this is something that a lot of athletes need to hear. Now, back to you, and I want to talk about, are you still assistant coaching with Kansas?
So, yes. Okay. Volunteer assistance is a loophole. So we can legally train again with collegiate athletes, but I don't particularly coach. We're very separate, where the pros are in the morning and the collegiates are in the afternoon. Time to time, I step in and go, hey, whatever my coach needs, I will travel with the team. But girl, it's just for me to train there and get all the again, take advantage of resources in the facilities. So
hey, I love it.
But shout out to you. Go Jayhawks. You know what I'm saying? I do love it here. I do love it here.
So as we go into the 2021, now 2021 Olympics, right. I want to talk about 2020, and that was a very interesting year for a lot of people. Everyone was expecting it to go one way, and in the blink of the eye, we were taught that expectations change, and it's not on us. And so I want to kind of dive into your 2020 and your experiences and how you dealt with that. It was a heavy year.
It started so promising. I remember I was coming out of the best fall training I have had in a long time. I thought, oh, we out here. As Pastor Todd would say, we out here. And so March hit, right? The pandemic hit around March. And remember, we didn't have any answers for the Olympics until way later. So when they started canceling indoor collegiate track and field, and then all the meets getting canceled, but weren't canceling Tokyo, that's when I started to panic. At first, I was kind of like, we'll be fine. We still have meets. We didn't have meets. Olympics were still scheduled. And I was like, coach, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? The day they announced finally Tokyo is going to be postponed to 2021, girl, if I could rip this wig off and put it on the table and show you how relaxed I was, I said, oh, thank you, Jesus. And I spoke to my coach. We sat there and made a plan. He was just like, we're going to see what happens for this pandemic, because no one really knew what to do. Like, I was afraid. Shoot, we were in the house for 2 months for sure. My coach was like, we can do some Zoom. I'll talk to y'all, but I'm with my family and y'all stay safe. Yes. And so we did it for 2 months. And honestly, I didn't think about training. I got on TikTok. As you know, I made a million videos. I kept myself busy. I did all kind of DIY projects. I painted. I learned how to sew. I learned how to make wigs. I ain't selling them, but there's so many things I decided I'm going to do. I decided to write a children's book. I'm still working on that. And there's a lot of things I just started to polish as an individual. Who was Whitney Ashley? I've lost her. And she's been so engulfed in her career, but who is she? And I got a chance to get to know myself. And we got back to training. We trained hard through the rest of the year. We didn't get a break until Thanksgiving. And we called it quits then and started our fall training right after that. We got a few weeks off and then we started back up. But you know what? It was so relaxing, and my body, I've never gotten a year off. Most athletes are able, they can afford to. I'm just not going to train next year, and I'm going to go back for the next World Championships. I've never been able to do that financially. Like, I had to compete to make money.
Right.
And so I was like, I'm okay right now. I've done my diligence and I have some money. I'm just going to enjoy this and again, control what I can control. And why am I going to sit here and twiddle my thumbs? And I was already coming out of depression a year prior. I attempted suicide in 2019. And I said, I'm not going back there. I've already been there, baby. We're not going back. And so I got to know myself. I got stronger in faith. I started watching Transformation Church, and there's just so many things I decided to do to work on me. So 2020 for me it was of course discouraging at times and a little boring sometimes, but my body was so relaxed and rejuvenated. I needed it. I needed to slow down. So in a nutshell, that was my 2020. Yeah.
Yes, I love this and I love to hear it. Once again, thank you for being open and transparent, because you don't have to share those parts of your lives, and you just shared something that is what a lot of people consider very personal. And to hear that side, especially coming from someone who is literally, I see you as the light. You're such a shining light. And so to hear that side coming from you, it's heart touching. Like it's very heartfelt. I love you, Whitney. Love you so much.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yes. So because you just talked about so many different things that you've done throughout 2020. Okay. As I said, we go to Google and we get the fun stuff. We got a couple fun facts here. And one of the things is that you enjoy bowling. Do you still enjoy bowling?
Girl, listen, if I wasn't a germaphobe now, like I was before, but now I'm like, think about this. We used to go and get bowling balls and put our fingers in them, and who knows if they were really spraying those holes. And then we would rent shoes, and who knows what kind of funguses was already growing up in them before I put our foot in there. Talking about we put some disinfectant in there. Yeah, I wasn't disinfecting them. Them things stink. So without me thinking about all the nastiness pre-Rona, yes, I love to bowl. I would love to go bowling. I don't think our bowling alleys are open right now, but I'm a decent bowler. And it's actually, if anyone's been on a date with me, I don't require it, but I'm like, yo, we got to go bowl. One, it's a great way to test how competitive a man really is, how patient he is. And it's like dim enough, but fun enough for you guys to enjoy yourselves and keep it's just fun. So it's one of my favorite dates to go on. I love to bowl. And don't go easy on me because, baby, I can lift. Okay? I will tear you up. So.
I have to ask that question because me personally, I just found a love for bowling. And like I said, it's the germ stuff now. So I started looking into purchasing my own bowling ball because That's how much I actually started to enjoy bowling. One of the other things that we see, my chair is just wobbly.
Hanging.
One of the other things that they had on your list was dessert tasting and wine tasting.
Okay, you're in San Diego. Have you been to Extraordinary Desserts yet?
I have not.
Look it up when we get off this podcast. It's called I will even text it. Extraordinary Desserts. It is phenomenal. Literally, it's cookies, cakes, pies, coffee, you name it. And I mean, like, you're getting a sliver, but very rich. Again, another one of my favorite date spots in San Diego. I took my booze there. We didn't work out, but that's okay. But yes, I love dessert tasting. It's my thing. I can't bake to save my life, but I'd rather pay someone else and go experience it.
So what's your favorite dessert?
That's a good question. I'm a cookie girl. Anything peanut butter, sugar, snickerdoodle. A cake has to be very specific. Like, I don't do birthday cake, which is odd, but I'll do like, okay, you've been to Cheesecake Factory and
yes.
They sell like, they'll do like, oh, this is like a 7-layer Oreo cake or something. I'll do a slice of that. It's got to have like a theme to it and make sense, but I'm not just going to eat a piece of like confetti cake. That's not I don't like birthday cake.
Yeah.
I will do like a specialty, very rich kind of cake. And I love pies. Sweet potato. I'm trying to think. It's like this caramel drizzle, upside down pineapple kind of cake. That kind of stuff. Extraordinary Desserts. Go there. It'll change your life. I'm telling you.
Al, when you see this, I'm just gonna apologize.
It is a lot of calories, and I don't know if they're sugar free. So.
He's gonna run it off me anyway, so just know I'll be there and I'll be sending pictures because that sounds so delightful. Do you have a favorite type of wine?
Oh, recently I got into Rieslings, which is it can be a sweeter white wine, but there's so many layers to it. I love that about it. That and what did I like before that? I like a good blend. It's not too dry and it's not sweet at all. It's like right in the middle. It's very wet tasting. They call it like, doesn't have very many tannins in it. And tannins is like that thickness you get on your tongue when it's really, really dry. It's not very rich in tannins is what they call it. So I would say Rieslings and a good red blend are my favorites. And I pair that with fish or whatever, what have you. I'm trying to get away from red meats. I'm actually moving into being a vegan. I did it for 21 days and it was amazing.
It was amazing.
Duh. I did the Daniel fast.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And it's vegan.
Yeah. You know what?
I was afraid because I was like, what if I lose too much weight? I didn't. I still maintained the calories I needed for the day. It was just all clean eating and it changed my life. When I actually put other foods back in, my body rejected it. Can't eat eggs anymore. Done with that. I already took out milk years ago. So I'm like almond, coconut, I'm all that. I do dairy-free cheese. So all that the dairy part was easy for me, but the meat, I thought it was like, Jesus, I love a good steak on Friday. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. Right. And it's been amazing. I don't need it. And I weigh the same. I thought, wow, it was going to be drastic change. And it's not. My body craves the cleaner food. So expensive lifestyle though. Lord have mercy, those grocery bills are 3 times what they used to be.
Girl. That's one of the hardest things about the cleaner eating is it's definitely and I don't like that. But I'm gonna eat the meat for us. I got you, girl.
I'm still thinking about it. When I said thinking, I'm thinking because this week I had tacos. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had tacos. I had chicken. I had some barbacoa the other day at Chipotle. So it's tough. But like I'm trying to do more meatless days if I can. Like I'll do the whole day like, okay, let me just eat as clean as I can today. And I gradually put meat in there. I don't try to go crazy.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. I thought about that whole vegan lifestyle too. Still considering it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm definitely still.
You don't even need it. You look amazing. You have great skin, hair, all that. I don't even see why you wouldn't even need it.
Thank you. It's just the trying to, I guess more so the red meat side of it. But
True.
let's step into 2021 now, because we are here. We are supposedly, as of right now, we are having the Olympics.
Yes.
And how are you feeling? What is your thought process? Like, what's going on? How's training going?
I'm so calm. It's the weirdest thing. I keep track on my calendar and I know what's going on, but I'm not trying to like create so much tension going into it. I'm really just trying to do what I'm supposed to do in training, execute these movements, and do one meet at a time and not put so much weight on, I have to throw this by this time.
Yes.
My only goal this year is to be ready for the first day of trials, because I'm day 1 and day 2. Okay, I'm in and out, honey.
Yeah, I wish.
Right. Be ready and do my job. So everything up before then, it does matter, but I'm not going to be like, oh, I have to open up at this. Oh, my second meet's got to be that. Track your progress, control what you can control, and you'll be ready for Olympic trials. And that's one thing I remember back from my first. I was calm, but I was stressed. And I was like, I'm a veteran now. I didn't put in 7 years for me to go in here acting a damn fool. Excuse my French for all the kids out there. So that's kind of where I'm at mentally. Training is going amazing. Mm-hmm. I'm strong. Girl, I'm lean. I ain't precious no
more. Precious where?
Girl, I am 30 pounds down in the last 2 years. Okay.
Wow.
And it's funny because Jason had sent me the podcast link and it said Ashley Spencer. And I thought it was kind of funny. It just brought me to her. And I love her. That's y'all my girls. But
yes.
In 2017, she sent me a photo of myself on TV at a Diamond League meet. And she said, oh, look at my baby. Good luck, Whit. Jasmine, it brought me to tears. I was so fat. Let me rephrase that. I was so out of shape. Let me say that. That sounds better. It's not shape.
Yes.
Right? I said, that's not me. That's not me. I screenshotted that. I think it's in my email somewhere. I screenshotted it and I said, I will never look like this again. That's how I knew I was unhappy. Girl, I was telling you, extraordinary desserts, tacos.
Wow.
Adult beverages, because I know this is
yes.
18 and under as well. Lots of adult beverages. Girl. I didn't care about what I was putting in my body.
I'm honest, it's okay.
The first time I saw myself and I go, no, why didn't anyone tell me? Why didn't any of my friends let me know? Like, hey, girl, you know what I'm saying? A little roly-poly. Like, you was roly-poly-oly. And at that point in time, I changed my life. So 2018 to 2021, I've lost 30 pounds. And I'm never going
But you know what's crazy, Whitney? Is like, even thinking and seeing you then, you weren't like, I guess to us, you weren't a roly-poly.
Girl. It's funny because remember, I wear black a lot. So I was trying to always like shift and shape what was going on. And girl, I was tucking all kind of stuff. Let me tell you.
Wow.
And I couldn't contour back then. So my cheeks was way out here. If I had learned to contour back then, it would have been a different story. But I was like, girl.
Would have been a whole nother story, okay? I feel that. You looked great. I'm excited to see you in person so I can just really enjoy your body. Because body, yada, 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 yada. I see it and I love it. And I feel like your light is honestly shining a lot bright. I thought you were a bright light before, but like you can see the radiance of how you're now like happy and how you're expressing this so openly and honestly. And it's like you're touching my heart right now because you're also speaking to me, which you didn't know, but you're definitely speaking to me through this podcast. And thank you. That's all I can say is thank you.
I appreciate it.
Look, hey, we need it. And I know that there's others that are out there that are like me that need to hear this stuff. So you're going to be touching a lot more hearts out there. And I just can't wait now because you've gone to all these countries, right?
Yes.
Where has been your favorite country to visit?
Switzerland. Okay. You see the greenery behind me?
Yes.
No. Willy Wonka. Do you remember when Augustus Gloop was in the beautiful garden eating up everything and how plush and green everything was? That is what Switzerland looks like, except that everything is inedible. It is the most beautiful place. It is the most beautiful place in the world, in my opinion. I walk around and take pictures and I go, I can't even capture the essence of like the mountains and it rain, and it was just so beautiful. And the chocolate is what they say it is. I never could make it home with the chocolate. I'd eat pounds of it before I got back to the States. And I try to hide it from myself. Like, all right, cool. I'm gonna save these 2 packs. Girl, please. I'm like, you fooling yourself. Open that bag up and get back home and eat it and go for it. And I was spending bags, okay, on this chocolate. Try to send it home and didn't make it. I love Switzerland. That'd be my favorite place in the world. And I've been to Bellinzona, and that one has like tons of castles. So imagine like floodplains, and they have a meet where a discus throw, like the discus cage sits on the bottom of the hill, and there's a castle right behind you. It is beautiful, beautiful. So that was easy. Switzerland is like top tier. Yeah.
Switzerland is definitely top tier. I agree with that. Went to Bellinzona. And
what's your favorite country?
What's mine?
Yeah. See, it's tough.
It is a tough question.
Put the host on
and it's only because I really don't want to say what you just said, but like
I can't. Yeah.
Bellinzona is so beautiful. So you know that castle that's right by the hotel that they put us in?
You can walk up.
And you walk up it. I remember distinctly my first year going out pro and going to Bellinzona. I was so overwhelmed. And I just went. I was by myself. I left everybody. I didn't even invite anybody to go with me. I just left and went. And I sat at the top of that castle and just took everything in because it was so beautiful. Like, so Bellinzona to me, hand down, favorite place.
Yeah.
I was really trying to find another place in my head, but I was just like, dang, I gotta say the same place because it's that beautiful.
Have you been to Croatia? Croatia's never one of my favorites.
I haven't been to Croatia.
Oh my goodness. People are there are so nice. And like you said, I like to get lost. That's a place that I feel so comfortable in just getting in a taxi and just ending up anywhere in the city. There's so much to do and so much to see. People are so nice, and the kebabs, they have these things called kebabs. It's not what Americans think, but it's more like a sandwich. Oh my gosh. I eat about 10 of those before I get back on the plane for my next trip. That is like second to like, and it's so inexpensive. You can take $20 and survive a whole week there. I kid you not. It's like, I think sandwiches, when I did the currency exchange, was coming out to like $1 to $2 a kebab or something like that. Very inexpensive. I never spend a lot of money when I go there. So that's why I love that meat. I always make more than you know what I'm spending, and I'm like, yes, I love this meat. So that's one of my favorites. If you get a chance, we go to the Zagreb meet. Fun times, and they pack it out just like Bellinzona. It's kind of the same dynamic, very small and intimate, but they pack it out all the way around. People really care in the little town about track. So
yes, I love that. Like, definitely adding that to my list. So on that traveling realm, where are 3 meets that you're just super excited to kind of return to and get to?
I don't know. 3 meets that I'm excited. Well, Zagreb's always a good time. I'd like to go back to Zagreb. You know what? I'm obsessed with London. Anytime, either Birmingham. Yeah, I like Birmingham and London. Any one of those meets is always a good time. It always rains, but for me, it's like a clean New York, and I'm obsessed with New York. So that's why I love London. They have great coffee. They have amazing buildings where you can go up in the tower and like have breakfast and oversee the city. I get into stuff like that. And they have all these like back alley like shop. It's like New York. You can literally go in these back alley fashion districts and like buy high fashion. I love it there. So I would say London, Zagreb. We're never on the list, but I want to get back. I want to go to Rabat.
Oh my gosh.
They've added, and it's like last year, 2019 was a tough year for me. And that's the first year they put discus on there, but that's the first year I wasn't invited. I had done every diamond league before that year. And I was like, it would be this year. It could have been any other year when I was doing really, really well. If y'all decide to add my event this year, good job.
Yes.
Good job.
Wow.
So that'd be amazing. So
yes, look, I'm gonna speak it into it. You're gonna be there very soon.
Amen. If not, I'll go to Africa by myself. So whatever. Eventually,
What place has had the best food so far?
Who has had good food? I almost want to say Monaco. They have a really good dessert bar after the meet. They used to, at least. Ooh, I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know. You know what? Okay, I'm also bad at this too. I don't always eat at the meet hotel. I like, because I remember we only have it 3 or 4 days like per meet when we go to. We don't get to stay there 10,
Yeah.
12 days. So I really try to get out into the town at least the day I land. So I always try to tell my agent to like get me there in the morning, 2 days before, so I can use that first day to like, I use that as my shakeout. I go on an adventure. So I go shopping, go eat, and I find a little spot and I stick with it. I find a coffee shop and stick with it, take a tons of pictures, and that's my shakeout. So I don't know. It's kind of tough. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Zagreb because I love their kebabs.
Okay. No, I mean that is still the girl. Forget the meat food.
That's tough. I'm like,
Outside of
they be struggling. They be serving us now just bread and fish at this point. I'm just like, Jesus did better in the Bible. Like, what are y'all doing? What?
Like, can y'all feed it? All right, Whitney. So while you were in Rome, what kind of wine were they serving?
I couldn't read the labels, but it was all red wine from what I could remember, and it was amazing. Fun fact about true Italian wines is it doesn't have, I think there's no sugar in it or something like that. So you can drink it. That's what gives you the hangover. And so I go, wow, you can drink for hours there and not get drunk. Like, or you can get drunk, but it doesn't, there is no hangover the next day. You pop up like nothing happened. As opposed when you buy wine in the States, there's a lot of preservatives and a lot of sugar. And you go, why did I even think that that was a good idea? It's just a lot cleaner. They pride themselves in in their vineyards and how they grow their grapes.
All right, Whitney. Final question that I have had to ask everybody. So we've got a whole bunch of different event groups within track and field. Who is the funniest event group?
Funniest event group?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with the male shot putters. Sitting at the table with them is a good time, but it's fun. Okay, I lied. It's gonna be the male shot putters with the jumpers, either triple jump or long jump. I don't know what it is. They are hilarious to me. I love jump. I think throwers and jumpers just get each other, so the dynamic is crazy. And so that's my answer. Male shot putters and male jumpers, hilarious. So shout out to field eventers again.
It's absolutely, you know what, Whitney, love that answer because that right there, I agree with that. I can 100% agree with that. The field events dominate funniness. Well, Whitney, thank you so much for joining. It was amazing having you on, especially showing your crazy faith. I think that this by far was probably one of my favorite conversations that I hear because it was just so raw, open, transparent, and from another side of track and field that we don't get to hear a lot about. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. And happy early Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Happy early Valentine's Day to you, boo. Jason.
I'll talk to you soon.
I'll talk to you soon, boo.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Crazy Faith Podcast. Once again, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Agogie. With 8 resistance bands built in, Agogie's resistance pants have pioneered the resistance apparel industry, helping increase your training intensity and improving your overall performance. Get faster, get stronger, and it's as simple as putting on the pants. So once again, I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I can't wait for you guys to hear the next one. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and remember, maintain that crazy faith.